back again at the beach house. I promise I haven't been staying here for a month. But I wanted to share with you 3 swimsuits that I made for this vacation, and I am in love with them. So come on for the ride, and go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below if you want to see more videos like this. And let's get started. Okay. The first one is so exciting. Oh my gosh. I probably should have saved it for the end, but I'm just too excited. Okay. So, I talked about this in another video that I filmed about my beach plans. And then I ended up changing what I was going to do with this fabric. It was supposed to be a Vernazza swimsuit by Friday Pattern Company, but I already have one of those and I made another one in a different fabric that I will share in a minute. And I was like, well, I don't need a third. So I decided to make a different swimsuit. So I was having quite a dilemma. I had seen an inspiration photo on Instagram that had a swimsuit that was like a V-neck. It was a ready-to-wear swimsuit. I will try to find the photo if I can. And it had like a ruffle V-neck. And that's pretty much it. I just really liked the front of it. So I was talking to my friend Amy from Amynicolestudio, and we were talking about like one of her patterns, the Chelsea party dress, which I'll pop the picture of up here. And I was like, do you think I could like make that a swimsuit? Because I really like the neckline. And then we were talking about sizing down, but then we'd have to change a few things, which is totally doable. But I wanted to make this swimsuit like that day. Like I had no time. We were leaving in like a few days, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like I don't have time to like muslin it and all that kind of stuff. So it's totally doable, I think. And I don't think it would be that difficult to make a swimsuit out of that. But I ended up figuring it out with complete and total help from Amy. She was like, hey, have you heard of SwimStyle swimsuit patterns? And I was like, no, I think I looked at a few of them, but I didn't see any that caught my eye. But then she sent me this one, which is the Clara Swimsuit. And she was like, this kind of looks like what you're wanting. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. I was so excited. I immediately went to cut it out and got to experimenting with what I wanted to do with it. So you notice the swimsuit doesn't have any ruffles, but I added ruffles. So this is the back and this is the front. Basically added ruffles along the entire edge. So the front of the swimsuit does look like this. It has a V-neck. It has like a little pinch here, which is kind of like a little pleat, if you can see right there. It has no tie back here. I added that later, which I will tell you why. But it has like a really deep back, but you can also make a higher back version, but I really liked the deep back. So basically this is the info on how I did the ruffle. Okay, so one piece that is about 25 to 30 inches based on your size. You're gonna have to change that. One piece that's about 30 inches, another piece that's 60 inches long, and another piece that's 30 inches long. All 3 pieces are 3 inches high, okay? So you're gonna have a seam in between the 30 inch and the 60 inch, and another seam in between the 60 inch and the 30 inch. So it can be sewn all together. So you have one super long piece that's 120 inches long. You can cut this however you want. I don't think it matters on grain, off grain, you know, side or cross grain, whatever. I really don't think it matters too much. It's just a ruffle. It's not the end of the world. I didn't have that much fabric left, so I kind of like pieced it together in a really weird way. You're gonna sew your swimsuit to the part where you can lay it out flat. You've got the whole back and you've got the two like triangle pieces for the front, okay? You're gonna lay it out flat with the right side up, and so you will be able to sew on the very long ruffle continuously on that piece, okay? So you're going to, if you lay out that piece, you're gonna have the two triangles right here, and then it's gonna go down the really long back, okay? And your long ruffle that you're gonna have is going to be 30 inches, then a seam. Your seam and your ruffle and your shoulder seam are going to match, and then you're gonna go down 60 inches all the way around the back, seam in the ruffle, seam in the swimsuit, and then you're gonna go the rest of the way up to put the last 30 inches. Now, obviously it's a ruffle, so before you lay it on top of your swimsuit that is basically finished, you've already sewn your elastic on, you've already turned your elastic under, you will see in the pattern what I'm talking about, and top stitch that. You've done all that. So like the inside neckline and the neckline in the back on the inside are done, okay? So I decided to sew my ruffle just right on top. So before you sew it on, you gotta gather it, right? So I did 2 gathering stitches or basting stitches at the top of the ruffle. Top can be whichever way because it's a rectangle, just pick one. At the top of the rectangle, 2 basting stitches, one at like 3/8 of an inch and one at like 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch. And then I pulled them up, matched the seams that I'm telling you. It's a lot of troubleshooting to try to get the ruffles to look right. If it's too much fabric in the front, you can spread them out and just let the rest hang off and just cut it off. You'll see what I'm talking about when you get there. 60 inches for the back is actually pretty good. I would stick with that and use that. But if it's too much, then you can always just take it off at that seam next to the front ruffles and make it shorter or whatever you want to do. It's very easy to adjust. Either way, I would pin the entire thing or use clips, which is actually what I did. I used clips because I didn't want to pin my swimsuit fabric. So I would clip the entire thing. I would post a link to some clips below so you know what I'm talking about. And then see if you like the way the ruffle looks before you stitch anything down. And then all I did was top stitch on top of it of a 1/2 inch in, and I kind of left the little inside portion, as you can see here. So let me show you how I top stitched it. Right there, you can see it's top stitch, and it's got a little piece on the inside. And this, my dear, this, if you take the ruffle off, is what the swimsuit would look like without the ruffle, because I had already finished that part and then I just added the ruffle there. So you just ruffle it how you like. It's just like, you just kind of experiment with it. And then once you have that ruffle on, you top stitch it with a zigzag, and then you're done. You can proceed with the rest of the swimsuit. No other changes. So it's very easy. I did go through a lot of different ways on how I wanted to attach the ruffle, and just top stitching it was the easiest, fastest, and best looking way I could think of. Putting it inside the seam, putting it on the swimsuit before I tuck it under, all those other options were not going to work in my opinion, and they were not going to look good. So I went ahead and just top stitched it on, and I really like how it looks. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. It's a little bit confusing, I realize, but I did my best to explain it in the best way I could. Another big issue with this pattern, not another, but a big issue with this pattern that I had was that I normally add an inch to a bodice piece or to the body of the swimsuit because I have a long torso. So I added an inch. What I should have done was not added an inch and subtracted like 3 inches from here, because there was so much room. and it was not tight enough. And so it was just like falling off. So I ended up having a lot of trouble. I had to squeeze more here by kind of unpicking the side seam and like just kind of catching more of this seam and making it shorter. And then I ended up kind of taking more in right here at the bottom just to kind of make the whole thing shorter. And then I was going to just take a chunk out of the shoulder at this shoulder seam and like serge it together and just, you know, do it that way. But it ended up, once everything was done, because I was testing the fit before it was completely done, once I turned in all the elastic and like actually finished it, it was a little bit tighter. And so, but it's just still, if I would like slouch a little bit or a lot, it would kind of like be looser, and that made me nervous because I like run around with my kids and stuff, and I don't want it to be like flopping off when I'm running around. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna add a tie. So I added a simple little tie at the top here in the back. I just made a tube, turned it right side out, or I made 2 of them. I don't even remember how long they were because I just kind of like eyeballed it, but I guess they're about this long, maybe like 14 or 15 inches. And I just left the end raw and I made a little, like I just tied it in a knot. And then I just stitched it in 2 places, right there. So, yeah, that's how I put them in, and now I have a tie. Once again, if I don't want that anymore, I can easily cut it out or unpick it out, so no big deal. But yeah, I love this swimsuit, and I'm so happy with the ruffle. And I will go ahead and show you a few pictures of this swimsuit now. Now we're gonna speed through everything because everything else is easy. So I have this lovely fabric from Blackbird, and I ended up making a Vernazza swimsuit out of it. And I've made a swimsuit like this before. I've made a red polka dot swimsuit like this. But this one is a lemon swimsuit, and it's so cute. Oh my gosh. Funny story, I have made this swimsuit before, and I still have the pattern adjustments that I made. I still grade out the bottom just a bit. The waist is the same, but I grade out the hips just a tiny bit here, and I grade them out like to maybe a medium or large. I think I make a small and then I grade them out. Adds a little bit of height to the bottom since my hips are kind of long and my torso is kind of long, and it also adds some width because I like a lot of coverage. But funny story, I've made this before, and the top part, I really like how she does it, because if you notice, there's a lot of top stitching when you make a swimsuit, and you know, put the elastic on the wrong side usually, you turn it over, and then you like top stitch it. Well, the way that she does the elastic is that there's no stitching anywhere on this part. And now there's top stitching here because she still does the armhole the same as a lot of other swimsuits, but here there's no top stitching. And I really like that because you end up putting it on the lining. And so I really like that. It's a very clean look, it's very beautiful. And it's not that hard to do if you pay attention to the instructions. I was making so many swimsuits that I forgot that this is how this is made. And I went ahead and put the elastic on the main fabric, and I did like all the steps, like all of them. And I even like sewed it to the lining. And then at the end, I'm like, when you're about to finish the top, I'm like, this doesn't look right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely messed up. I started to unpick it for about 10 minutes and I'm like, what am I doing? I have more fabric. So I had to cut out an entire new top and start from scratch. So I still think that was quicker than unpicking. So I'm gonna stick to my guns and say that was the right decision, but it's still stuck, especially since I made this before. So now you know I make mistakes, right? As if you didn't know that already. But yeah, so it's super cute. I'm super happy with it. I put bra cups in here that I get from Fabric Fairy, and I'm about an A cup. I wear a size 6 in her bra cups, and I love them to death. They fit me perfectly. I put them in every swimsuit. I put them in the red swimsuit as well. I forgot to mention that. That swimsuit comes with like a little like pocket for bra cups, so you can take them in and out. Very easy to do. And so I put my bra cups in there as well, and I probably won't take them out. You coming to share a little starfish?
It's very star.
It's a very star. Last but not least, I made a Sophie swimsuit by Closet Core Patterns. I have been wanting to make this for a really long time. I finally broke down, bought the pattern, and went to town. So I'm gonna show you the bottom part first. High-waisted, super cool. She gives you a really good opportunity to like color block, because there's a seam here and a seam here, if you can see that. But I just wanted my polka dots everywhere, so I didn't really take advantage of that opportunity. The top is where I ran into some problems. I decided to make like the bra top, and it's supposed to have the strap that starts here and kind of ties around your neck. So I wanted the strap that starts right here and goes straight to the back, because I just wanted it to be a little bit different. At first I regretted that decision, because when I put it in, I'm like, oh, but it would have been so much more cool and vintage if the strap was like coming in around my neck, and it would have fit it perfectly, and I shouldn't have just tried to be different. I should have just kept it the same. But actually I'm still happy with this. I could still change it by just cutting off the strap here and like tying it around my neck. So, but I set out making the swimsuit wanting to be different, not wanting to do like the expected option, and I'm just like that sometimes. I like to be different. So I went ahead and kept it like this. So let's talk about the sizing for this top. Okay, so she wants you to measure your under bust and then your actual bust. I am an A cup. I know I'm an A cup. I have known this for a very long time. And I always do small bust adjustments for like almost everything. By her measurements, I was a B cup, and I was like, well, she was like, don't pay attention to the cup sizes you are in bras, and like, I know that, so I didn't pay attention to that, but I'm like, but I'm always an A cup in patterns. But I didn't want the swimsuit to not fit, and I was like, it's Closet Core Patterns. I can trust her. She has really good patterns. I'm just going to listen to the pattern, and I'm gonna make the B cup, even though I know deep down inside that is too much room for my bust. So I made the B cup, and lo and behold, it was too big. And I think I know, which I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I know myself, and I think I know why it was too big. Because my body is like really wide right here, like especially after I had kids, like my ribs, I could feel them expanding, and like they never went back. Like they just got really wide right here. And it's not my bust actually shrunk, but my ribs expanded, and then right underneath my bust, they start going in like a lot, and my body is just kind of like this. And so I was 2 inches wider, but it wasn't because of my bust at all. It was because of my ribs. And so I didn't need more room in the bust area. I just needed more room like in the you know, rib for my ribs, which I could have just made the smaller cup size and the band would have probably been wide enough because I was making the band size based on my under bust measurement, but it's so stretchy right there that like it wouldn't have been too tight. And so I could have just had the regular cup size. So what I ended up doing, I could tell they were too big as I was making them. So what I ended up doing is I just started taking like bigger and bigger seams at all the places, and they ended up making them a little bit smaller. I didn't do underwire because I really don't need it. That is an option. You can include it or not include it. I ended up doing the foam because I kind of need the structure because I don't really have any structure of my own. And so yeah, and it turned out okay. It's still a little bit spacious, but it's not like super noticeable. And it looks pretty nice on the inside, as you can see. And except for the string that I need to cut right there. How do those always pop up out of nowhere? And yeah, it's really comfortable. I had, she wants you to use some, like hooks that are open-ended and like a loop to like put the straps in. But I went ahead and measured my size really well and I just sewed them in because I was like, there's no reason for me to use those hooks because I'm not ever going to make it strapless. I'm not ever gonna take them off. So, because it just would look stupid on me. I don't like that look. So I just sewed them in. So I didn't need those hooks because I didn't have them and they were very hard to find and they weren't in my local fabric store. So I just sewed them in and that's it. Now I did have a hook for this one. It's right here. And I got that from my local fabric store and that's a 3/4 inch one. And then you've got a loop on the other side. That one was actually quite widely available. It was a 3/8 of an inch hook that I couldn't find. So I just sewed in my straps. Swimsuits are a little bit scary, but they're pretty easy once you get the hang of them. And once you get to know your body, like you have to make a swimsuit to like get to know what your body is like and what looks good on your body. I have to admit that polka dot one, I was a little bit concerned of how that would look on my body, especially since I don't wear like bra type swimsuits. But I was like, oh, but it's so cute. I want to wear it anyway. And so I made it and I wasn't sure about it at first, but now I love it. So, and I love all the other ones a lot. So that was it. Those are the 3 swimsuits I made. I'm very proud of them. I'm good with swimsuits for a really long time, unless my weight changes like a ton. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, hit me up down below. If you have any suggestions, just want to say hi, go ahead and do that. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have a really fantastic day and I will talk to you later. Bye.